Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Look, Wrestling 101, classes in session. Pay attention to the teachings, that's from Andrew and Derek. I mean, these guys making a killing with no competition. Dynamic duo better than the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. Everybody make some noise, mess with them, you get destroyed. They cannot be beat, take a seat. Watch them do they thing on the MIC. Face defeat, they cannot be seen like JC. Oh my goodness, it's a killing spree.
Aloha, this is the Royal Hawaiian from Glow. Just wanting to share with you, I love Wrestling IQ 101. So tune in, all of you out there in Pineapple Nation and across the world. Aloha.
Hey everyone, you're listening to Wrestling IQ 101. I'm Andrew alongside Derek. And you can follow Wrestling IQ 101 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wrestling IQ 101. And today we're sitting with Overtime TJ Crawford. How's it going, man?
It's going good. Thank you guys for having me again. This is it's been a while since I've been here. Last time I was here, I was with my old partner, the Flamingo, Freddie IV. So it's been probably over a year since I've been here. So excited to be back.
A lot of changes, all for the good.
Yeah, all for the good. A lot of different career moves for me. Me and Freddie have gone our separate ways, and we both taken our careers in different paths, and I think they're both been pretty good so far. So
definitely, yeah. So I mean, since we started off with that, we might as well let's go into that first. How was it like? That first separation of you two. You guys were a pretty successful tag team, and then it's like you guys just separated and went your own ways. How was that first initial like feeling of that separation?
It was really weird at first, actually. I actually was the one who initiated us kind of not being a team anymore. And it was nothing personal against Freddie. It was nothing personal against Brody. It was just I was not comfortable in that tag team format. It was just nothing. It was something that I never really aspired to be growing up as a wrestling fan. I never saw myself as a tag team wrestler. So I just, instead of dragging it out and being miserable for the entire time that I'm there in the team, I figured I would, cut it loose while I could, and while I'm still early on in my career, and I can, take whatever ideas that I have and use them for myself instead of having to pretend to be something that I'm not. If that makes sense.
Sure, but that led you to an Impact taping, right? I mean, why cut a good thing going when you're getting the notoriety?
Yeah, the Impact thing was something. It just kind of came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. We got a call probably about 2 days before the Impact tapings that they were doing at Melrose, and they needed just like a small tag team to wrestle Desi Hit Squad, and I mean, I don't think there's anybody smaller than me and Freddie. We were two of the smallest guys that were there helping out. So we just it just kind of like we just fit that mold of what they needed for that time. I think it would have it could have been me and him whether we were teaming up or not teaming up. It just so happened that we were a tag team at the time. That was actually probably one of the last appearances that I think we had as the Beach Bums was on Impact. So hell of a way to go out, I guess.
Yeah, right. Or,
seriously.
Or a hell of a start, right?
Yeah. I guess.
See, I always felt like just like seeing you guys separate and just seeing Freddie go his way as well. I always felt like Beach Bums, it was more of a Freddie thing than it was a TJ thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely was.
So that fits him. That's him.
Yeah.
He's the Beach Bum. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know Freddie grew up. I know his family had a house down in LBI. So Freddie grew up on the beach. He grew up in that lifestyle. So it came so naturally to him because he wasn't playing a character. He was just being himself, which I always felt is in wrestling what you should be. You shouldn't have to portray anything that you're not. You should be able to express yourself in being who you are, and the Beach Bum is who Freddie is. Yeah. So it just, and I'm glad to see. I mean, right now he's hurt, but once he gets back, he's gonna be tough to stop because he he's determined to get his career back on track and get himself out there a lot more.
He was killing it at SWF and at Monster Factory. I mean,
yeah, Freddie was the Monster Factory Supersonic champion. So
Yeah.
when I seen that, I texted him right away and said my congratulations. So that was it was a cool moment to see.
Yeah, that's kind of cool that you guys still keep in touch and you guys are still friendly with each other. One of the things I liked about the Beach Bums is that you guys would do the vlogs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I saw you do one with J Enterprise.
We did
Charlie. Beefcake Charlie, and they were picking on you for taping up your hands and stuff like that. Do you like this vlog kind of stuff, or?
I mean, I'm not super into it. I don't do the vlogs like I'm on my own, but Freddie was really big into doing it because Freddie was huge on YouTube and Twitter and all kinds of social media. So any chance Freddie got to put content out there was we were eating at Chick-fil-A and Freddie is just with the camera right in our faces trying to get something. And J Enterprises, if you go on his YouTube channel, he has videos of him reviewing movies.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
Yeah, he does a lot. So I enjoy being in them. I don't enjoy doing them because I've had to edit a vlog before, so and it's not fun. It's not fun at all.
I can only imagine what the Bucks do, right? Because they do those kind of things all the time.
Yeah, they're with being elite and all that, and like
they're probably paying somebody to do
Well,
this
I
thing.
don't know. I mean, I think those first couple ones, right? Cause
hey, when they're first starting out, they're probably just sitting at home just like everybody else, just doing it themselves.
I think Nick or Matt say they like spend hours like editing this stuff, and like that's funny. Like,
well, especially those guys, wrestling is that's their career. They make all of their money just with wrestling and all their merchandise. So they kind of have that free time kind of, I guess, in between traveling on the roads to edit everything. They're sitting on a plane. Yeah. If you're on a plane for 5, 6, 7 hours, whatever it may be, you just edit the video the entire time. So I've done that on long drives, edit highlight videos together, stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
I've seen you have a couple on your page.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm really into just kind of like, I'll just randomly, if I have nothing to do, I'll just grab a bunch of clips and just throw them together with a random song and see, I just like to get that content out there as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Now, this was a big change for you. Before, you used to live in Chicago, and then you moved to Jersey. I'm pretty sure that was a huge change for you. What are like the differences from you living over there in Chicago and then coming to Jersey?
Everyone thinks it is like a huge change for me, but I actually was born in Jersey.
Okay.
So I lived in Jersey until I was 8, and then my dad retired from the fire department. We moved to Chicago, which is where my mom's side of the family's from. But the lifestyle that I lived in Chicago and that I live here isn't really too different because in Chicago I had my family, my mom's family all close to me. My aunt, my grandma lived upstairs from me. My aunts lived down the street. I had family just all over my neighborhood. And even in Jersey, when I moved back, I was living with my uncle, so I would see him, my cousins, my aunts all the time. Like, I would see them all the time. I'm very family-oriented. I love spending time with my family. I don't spend as much time with them as I probably should. But that's just because I'm constantly traveling, constantly doing the wrestles, as we would say.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah.
Now, there's one very important question. Who has better pizza, Chicago or New Jersey? That's an important question.
It is a very important question. Yeah, I would say New York probably has better pizza than Jersey, but Chicago has the classic deep dish pizza, but I'm not a huge fan of deep dish pizza. I don't like a lot of sauce. It's just not for me. I brought my girlfriend out to Chicago a few weeks ago, and she was like, "Oh, we gotta try Chicago pizza. We gotta have Chicago pizza." Yeah. And I was like, "You don't want Chicago pizza." I'm not a huge fan of it. But I guess I would say Chicago pizza is probably better, but not the deep dish style pizza. There's like a certain pizzeria that's wasn't too far from where I lived in Chicago that I would only get pizza from there. So that's just, I guess I'm just inclined to I'm just gravitate more towards that than I am anything else.
I got you.
Yeah. We'll keep the food thing going here for a second. Sheets or Wawa?
Sheets.
Really?
I definitely put Sheets up there. Especially with the Beach Bums, we did a lot of like Pennsylvania shows, like near Pittsburgh, so there's only sheets out there. So like almost every weekend we were eating sheets every single weekend. So I don't know. I'm a sheets guy, I guess.
What's the best thing to get there?
So even if you ever have Freddie on again
Mm-hmm.
and you ask him the same question, we're both gonna give you the same answer. It's the quesarito with it's the double wrap quesarito. It has cheese, it has a wrap, melted cheese, another wrap, and you get like steak, chicken, whatever you want to get in there. But the quesarito that's the go-to. That is the go-to.
Quesaritos. So
And the cinnamon poppers. Those are the two go-tos for me. So
I'll have to ask him about that next time.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So we kind of talked about a little bit about you being on Impact with and being a part of Beach Bones. Like, can you just tell us like how was that experience and like what did you gain from that overall?
I was really nervous going into it because I've never done TV wrestling before.
Mm-hmm.
I was just really nervous that I wasn't going to be in the right spots. I wasn't going to know where cameras were. I wasn't going to know how to react if something were to go wrong. And me and Freddie were both like insanely nervous going into it, and it was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. The referees and the producers and the cameramen are constantly telling you where to look, they're just constantly telling you what to do, and it just, from the second you walk through the curtain to the second you walk back through the curtain, it's almost like you have your own earpiece in, and they're just they're constantly telling you what to do. So it took a lot of that nervousness away. But I think the biggest thing I gained from it was learning how to work a TV style match, because obviously the end goal in wrestling is to make it to the WWE. So once you get there, that's, you're gonna be doing that every week, working a TV style. So that's probably the biggest thing that I gained from that, and it definitely boosted my confidence up a little bit. So I struggle with confidence issues. I'm probably a perfectionist. I like to make sure everything's like, all right, we got A, B, C, D. Like, I make sure everything is like on point. So that's like the Impact thing definitely helped me gain more confidence going forward.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That helped you like that. I was there in Metuchen with you and Anthony Bowens going at it. Was that the first time that you went out as overtime? That's the first time I recall.
That wasn't the first time that I've done it. That was the first time I did it for WrestlePro.
Okay.
The first time I did it was a show in Pennsylvania, NTW. I just kind of went to hang out with Beefcake, and I had the new gear on me, and that was the first. Like I said, that was the first time that I actually got to do it. I was only out there for about 3-4 minutes. It was something real small, but with Bowens was probably the first full match and full singles match that I had as overtime.
Yeah, I mean, you went out there and the crowd was behind you. Were you nervous before you went out there because, you had so much success, and now this is a drastic change for you, for you or the audience to see you as this? Maybe not so much for you, knowing that that character wasn't for you, that persona. How nervous were you for that reaction?
I definitely was a little nervous because, again, it's not like it was a slow transition into this. It was something that kind of just, all right, one day I was a beach bum and the next day I'm overtime. But I definitely was, like I said, I was nervous, but I wasn't as nervous because I was in the ring with Anthony Bowens, someone who has mentored me since the day I started. His mom grew up with my dad and my uncles, and his dad is really good friends with my cousin's uncle, so his family and my family have been very, very close, and he's, like I said, he's been a mentor. He's been very supportive of everything of me, and he's helped me out more than I could have ever asked him to.
Yeah, it's crazy because he's done that for other wrestlers too.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because, he has all the tools, and he is the 5'2" player.
He's got all 5 of them, man.
It's just a matter of time before we start seeing your hard work probably on TV and him on TV, and we're rooting for you guys to do that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And talking about just WrestlePro, just tell us how was it just being in the Creator Pro, training under Pat Buck, and just everything you gained from that. I'm pretty sure just being around Pat is just like a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah,
just to get
definitely. It definitely is. Pat has so much knowledge to drop on everybody, and he, the news actually broke today. I don't know when this is the day this is going to air, but the day of recording, the news broke that Pat is now signed as a producer for the WWE. Yeah. So that was just that was like a really cool thing to kind of wake up to and see that. Yeah. He definitely he deserves that. I think more than anybody. He he's trained me from scratch. He's helped me out a lot. He's given me opportunities that I might not have even been ready for, and it was a sink or swim moment for me. But the other guys that helped train there, Dan Moff, who has, again, like a Bowens, has helped me out more than I could have ever asked him to. Never asked for him to take any sort of liking to me or anything like that. I always just, wanted to gain as much knowledge from him as possible, and he took me and helped shape me into I would say Dan Moff probably shaped me into more of what I am today than anybody else. He helped me find that aggression and toughness that he has. So he definitely helped me find that within myself.
Yeah, he's especially a rare breed too, because he can do singles action and tag team action.
Yeah.
Probably, just as well as anybody from either or, right?
Yeah.
He knows both of them like the back of his hand. I mean, the legendary Hit Squad. He's doing his thing now with Sent to Slaughter, and plus, I mean, he was Silver Wrestle Pro champion.
Yep.
Jersey All Pro champion, and just amazing stuff with that, for sure. But yeah, let me ask you about that. I just mentioned, you did some tag team matches at WoW against some tag teams that you were familiar with, Job Security, and you teamed up with Adam Bizarre. How weird was that? Knowing that your normal tag team partner, wasn't in your corner. You had somebody else watching your back in that one.
Yeah, that was a
bizarre.
Yeah, that was very very bizarre. Adam he trains at the Creator Pro New Jersey school. So, and I think at that point he was maybe about a year into his training. But I mean, he's a great kid. I think he's gonna do well in wrestling if he's got to keep his head straight, keep his confidence levels up. That's the biggest thing I can always tell anybody is just be confident in everything, because if you're confident in yourself, the fans are gonna see that, and it's gonna make them connected to you a lot more. But that was a fun time. I enjoyed teaming up with Adam there against Job Security, because I know everything that Job Security's got.
Yeah, right?
I know everything about them.
Definitely.
But it was funny too, because you faced the Lost Boys, and you were teaming up with Sean Donovan, another guy who was an expert tag team wrestler.
I guess I found myself with a lot of different tag partners. I didn't realize it until you bring it up. But Sean Donovan, again, he's another one who's helped me out a lot. So it was fun to get to team up with him and send the apron and watch him do his thing. But yeah, it's just, even though I'm technically a singles wrestler now, it's still always fun to just jump into a random tag team and have random tag team matches, because they are fun when you got the right opponents and you got the right partner. They are fun. So
sure, yeah,
definitely. And how does it feel now that knowing that Pat Buck has such a prominent role with WWE, being a part of WrestlePro, wrestling for WrestlePro, this is like really big opportunity for all of you guys now, because now I'm pretty sure there's going to be more eyes that are going to be watching you guys that can lead to bigger opportunities for all of you guys.
Yeah, definitely. If there's more eyes on WrestlePro now, that means more opportunities that could come in the future, and that just means that everybody in the locker room has to step their game up now, because there's going to be more eyes and higher ups watching our product. So now it's just time to get to work, and it's time to show the world what Wrestle Pro is all about.
Sure. And the cool thing about him too, prior to this news breaking, was that he already had been in the system. He knew what people were looking for. He knew how to, conduct yourself back there and all this stuff. And he parlayed that stuff to you guys. He said himself, just because he didn't make it to TV, he still learned the tools to be a great. He is a great wrestler, and he learned the tools how to do that, and he learned the tools how to fit into their society, for sure.
Yeah, he being signed with OVW back in the early 2000s, and recently going down to the Performance Center. When he would come back, he would drop all the knowledge that he can from what he learned down there, from the different stuff that he's seen, stuff that they're looking for. He would relay that back to us. We'd run some of the drills that they would run down there to just kind of get everybody ready, because you never know who's going to get an opportunity to go down there for a tryout. So
sure, that's pretty selfless. He could have just bottled that up and kept him to himself, but that's it kind of tells you the person that he is. If he goes and he's like to his students, like, this is what you guys have to do, instead of just being like, oh, I know what to do, and screw you guys. It's kind of cool that he didn't do that, and he should be commended for that.
Yeah, definitely.
And recently, you wrestled outside of the country in the United Kingdom.
Yes,
for
I did.
LDN Wrestling. Just tell us, like, how was that experience, and how was the culture of wrestling different there than it is here in the States?
Yeah. So the LDN tour was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had in my entire life. That was my first time wrestling outside of because I wrestled in Canada a couple weeks before that. That was my first time doing a full length tour. I was there for 10 days. We did nine shows, and you wrestle two matches a night. So in the span of nine nights, I had 18 matches. So just that alone is just that experience helped me out a lot. But the wrestling over there is definitely a lot different, especially with the LDN promotion. They run more family-oriented shows in theaters. It's not the classic, all four sides of the ring are covered with fans. Yeah. It's just one side. Only one side is covered with fans in a theater platform, so it's like it goes all the way up. But I made a lot of really cool connections down, over there. I got to share a hotel with Insanely Rude and Channing Thomas, guys from up in New England. So that was my first time spending like an extended period of time with those guys. So it was really cool to hang out with them and and meet different people from different who get trained by different minds than you do, and you can pick their brain and they can pick your brain, and you can figure out what their trainers teach them, or what the promotions that they work for are looking for, and vice versa. So it was a really, really cool experience to do that.
Awesome. Well, who has better pizza, UK or us? No,
definitely us.
Yeah, I remember we were sitting backstage at Syngery, and you were telling me some of the stories that from there. But the one thing I picked up from that was that you ran into Aaron Bradley out there, and on September 20th, you and him have a non-sanctioned match. There's no entrances. There's no hoopla. It's just, this company has washed their hands of the two of you. Can you talk about that? Yeah,
so we were over in the United Kingdom. American Murder Society came over on the tour, and my mindset going into it was I'm not going to have any interactions with Aaron Bradley. I'm going to keep myself as separated from him as possible. I don't want any altercations overseas. And I'm in the ring before a show and just warming up, getting myself ready to go, and he took advantage of an opportunity, and the security camera footage shows it on the Syngery Pro Wrestling page. And he jumped me from behind, and I got my hands on him at the last show, but now if Syngery Pro Wrestling has nothing to do with it, there's nothing that I won't do. So I'm looking forward to the unsanctioned match. I'm looking forward to giving Aaron Bradley what he has coming.
Definitely. Now, talking to Aaron recently, he told us, it was funny what you said, like in the beginning. It stuck to me because you said, you know, you left being a beach bum because you felt like that wasn't you. And, you know, when Aaron was sitting here and we were talking to him, he said, you being a beach bum wasn't you. You being overtime wasn't you. Like, he's trying to save you from yourself. That's what he said he's trying to do. So, for who you are now, what do you want fans to know, like, who TJ Crawford is, and more importantly, what should Aaron Bradley know who TJ Crawford is?
Well, Aaron Bradley doesn't know me very well, so Aaron Bradley thinks that this overtime persona that I'm trying to play isn't me, but this is more me than it gets.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, you know, put on a mask and pretend to be something that I'm not. Overtime is just, I grew up in Chicago. I grew up on the streets of Chicago. I grew up fighting for everything I've ever wanted, and I could have stayed in Chicago. I could have stayed in college. I could have gotten an education, but professional wrestling is what I've always wanted to do, and I took advantage of an opportunity, and my mindset and I've always believed that if you work hard for something, you're gonna get it. Yeah. If you put your mind to something, you can achieve whatever you want to. And people always ask me, what is overtime? That's it. That's what overtime is. It's not, you know. Yes, it's a play on the on basketball and all kinds of sports references. But when I think about overtime, it's pushing yourself the extra mile and pushing yourself to be better than you think you are. So if Aaron Bradley has a problem with that, then I'll see him September 20th.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's time for you to get yourself over.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I think a more important question is, are you going to be wearing jeans? It's not really a street fight, an unsanctioned fight, unless you're wearing jeans and knee pads.
I've gotten this question from a few people. They're like, well, it's not an actual match, so, like, what are you going to wear? You're going to wear jeans and, like, boots, or, like, what are you going to wear? And what I would wear in a street fight or in an alley fight or any sort of fight would just be some basketball shorts and a t-shirt.
Oh, man.
So I'm going in there with basketball shorts, a t-shirt. I'll probably just put my kick pads on just because I plan on kicking Aaron Bradley really, really hard. So it's gonna be kick pads, some basketball shorts, and a cut-off t-shirt.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to be there at Syngery to see the whole attire.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Because there might be a little there might be little hints in there of stuff from the past, stuff going forward. So you never know. You got to be there to find out.
Yeah, and that's in Hillsborough, New Jersey, and then of course that's September 20th, and that's Aaron Bradley's birthday, so that'd be a hell of a present to give him, right?
Oh, I'm gonna give him the best birthday gift that he could ever ask for.
Well, that is one way to celebrate a birthday, I guess.
It's Synergy's birthday too.
Well, it wouldn't be my ideal. Yeah, right. But that is incredible that match is going to take place. One thing I want to talk to you about, because they're at Syngery, right? Here you come in, and now you're fairly new to the roster. You weren't there in the beginning of their initial birth, but since then you have come in and showed so much heart and dedication, and the fans can see that. And it wasn't that long ago where you won that battle royal, and you picked KTB, and I was like, he is the measuring stick of Syngery. I mean, he was the runner-up against Matt Tremont for the Syngery title. I mean, I think he only has like one loss in Syngery, right? So, how is it looking across the ring from him, knowing that this is the biggest challenge in that company?
Definitely. So you said, like, I wasn't with Syngery from the start. I was my first show was November 24th. I believe it was Syngery 8. They did it was the Black Saturday show. Colin had just messaged me. I had messaged him before to, I was gonna come hang out, help out at a few Syngery shows, and he shot me a message, said he had an open spot against Matt McIntosh, somebody who I've wrestled before, somebody who I trained with, somebody who I was very excited to step into the ring with. But like you said, winning the match against Aaron and JP Grayson, and then challenging KTB, that was just kind of me wanting to prove myself, not only to the Synergy fans, but to prove something to myself, prove that I can hang with someone like Kyle the Beast, who has traveled all over the country, traveled all over the world. You know, he wrestles for GCW, he's wrestled up in Canada, he's wrestled for Beyond. I wanted to see if I could hang with somebody like that, so that was definitely my mindset going into it. You know, can I challenge myself? Can I beat somebody who has done all of this, who has done everything that I want to accomplish? That was my, I think I'm still hurting from that match. That was rough.
Do you have any regrets of picking him? Because, you know, you could have picked a lighter challenge, right?
Yeah, like I said, I like a challenge. I like to test myself. I don't have any regrets of picking Kyle the Beast, but I think probably like the midpoint of the match, I thought to myself, why did I do this?
Right.
And then after the match, you know, I self-reflected and realized that I was able to hang with somebody like that and earn his respect.
Sure. You know, I think a lot of people would have liked you to pick Miles Thomas, because he is, you know, at least shut him up for a night, right? Yeah, he's all over the place. He's fun. You know, he's like a kid in a candy store, just on a sugar rush. You know,
he's got way too much energy.
Yeah, right.
Way too much energy.
He's a marathon runner. He's a doctor. I mean, this guy is he's phenomenal.
He doesn't stop moving.
No,
he stop moving, sure. Man.
You know, when you're home, right, and you have some downtime now, and what do you like to do when you're in your own space?
So when I'm just relaxing, having some downtime, consists of either watching The Office, or or just watching wrestling. I think I watch wrestling more than I do anything else, probably. Especially on my downtime. I go to the gym and I do cardio and I watch wrestling. I go home and I lay down before I go to bed. I watch wrestling. I watch wrestling constantly. If I'm sitting in my car waiting to go somewhere, I'm watching wrestling. I just want to learn as much as possible, so I watch as much stuff as I can, especially with places that I want to work at. I watch, you know, a lot of their old stuff to see what their fans like and what their company enjoys. So, yeah. I guess there's no downtime because it's wrestling 24/7.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any like hidden talents or any, you know, hobbies that anybody wouldn't know that you would have?
Not really. I don't really have any like hidden talents. I used to play guitar and bass when I was younger, so I guess that's like a hidden talent, but I don't really remember how to play as good as I used to. Really, I played basketball growing up, so like I guess playing basketball is a hidden talent, but that's not really hidden because I'm pretty public about it.
You can't play basketball, you know?
But no, I don't really have any hidden talents. I should probably find one, because that'd be pretty cool if I had a cool talent, but I don't. Yeah. My talent is wrestling, I guess.
Yeah.
What's your favorite episode of The Office?
Ooh, that is I do like the very last episode, just because it's you're watching it end, and you're like, it's cool to see the all the characters like reflect on what has happened throughout the entire series or show. So I guess the last episode, Belschnickel is pretty funny. So you know, my girlfriend got me really into The Office. I wasn't a huge fan of it until we started dating, so she forced me to watch it, and I just stuck with it and started liking it. So
I love the convict episode, Prison Mike.
Yes.
He locks them all in the conference room.
You ever watch any of the originals and like the England version?
No, I've never gotten around to watching. I've seen like a few episodes like here and there, but I've never gotten around to watching the entire thing. Yeah. That's probably my next venture of TV shows I should watch is the original Office.
I don't think they're that good.
But next time you go to England, then you just put it on. So
yeah,
you relate to the local people,
right? That'll be my my way to like
some Doctor Who.
That may be my way to like talk to everybody when I go out to like the bars or whatever. I'm like, oh, the Office UK, and like try to make some references from there.
This guy, what is he talking about? What? The Office?
Just be like, I like William Regal with that, right?
Right,
I mean,
and then
like, or the Bulldogs.
Right.
You can relate with British people, I guess, pretty well.
I guess, yeah, with the wrestling. I do enjoy the British wrestling style, so I guess I can relate in that way.
Yeah, right? Danny Burch and stuff like that. Just, just keep throwing out some English wrestlers, right? Finley. It's funny that this has been a long time coming, but it all kind of started right at Pro Wrestling Explosion, right? I mean, he kicked you right by accident. No, he came off the rope, right, and he hit you.
Yeah,
accident,
Freddie
right?
hit me by accident off the top rope. So that was
yeah. You didn't take that really well.
No, I think that was more of a like spur of the moment type thing.
Mm-hmm.
That momentary like hesitation cost us our undefeated streak
Mm-hmm.
at PWE, and I kind of took my frustrations out on Freddie, and then we had some back and forwards, and we had the match at Philomoka in February, and there's no ill will towards Freddie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just that spur of the moment, like, I can't believe you cost us this undefeated streak that made me like lash out at him.
Sure.
So I think that was just more of a spur of the moment type thing. But hey, Freddie got injured, and I took his spot against Joe Gacy. So.
But like real quick though, that match, Brody hits him with the shell, right? The Magic Conch, and you get the pinfall, and then you go for like, this is hilarious. You go for like a hug, and he just like he doesn't even move, right? Like, and then you want him to raise your hand. Like, where does that stuff come from? Is that just pure excitement after winning a match against your former partner?
Yeah, it was kind of, I wasn't expecting Brody to do that. So when I see it happen, in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, you just gave me a gift, a gift of a victory here, and I can start my own undefeated streak, which I didn't because I lost to Joe Gacy, but that's another topic. But yeah, so I get like super excited, but I don't know if Brody did it to help me in spite of Freddie, because he didn't show any emotion after that. But Brody has never shown much emotion, so I shouldn't have expected anything else.
Yeah, it looked like like in Super Bowl, like when you're watching like football players like do like a chest bump, like he went right for the hug and like he just didn't like move.
Didn't nudge at all. It wasn't. I don't even think he looked at me. I don't think he looked at me and knew I was even coming at him.
That's hilarious. That was a great victory for you for sure. But yeah, like after the match, I just couldn't stop laughing. I had to rewind that a couple times.
That's funny. So, you said you watch a lot of wrestling. With as great as wrestling is, there's a lot of heartaches that come with wrestling. Who would you say is probably the worst tag team breakup that you've ever seen in wrestling?
The worst tag team breakup that I've ever seen in wrestling, besides me and Freddie.
Besides you and Freddie, the one that you saw.
Now we're talking about like worst, as in like it just had no effect on anybody, or worst like
worse in a good way.
Worse in a good way.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So in 2014, I started to get back into wrestling, and when I came back into wrestling, the Shield was like a huge thing.
Yeah.
And so I started watching like a bunch of like stuff that they were doing before that, back in like 2012, 2013. And I was at the Payback pay-per-view when they wrestled Evolution.
Yeah.
And the next day, I got on a flight to Arizona to go on vacation with my family. And I remember sitting by the pool, and whatever time it was, I ran up to the room. I was like, I gotta watch Raw. Yeah. And the second I turn the TV on, the first thing I see is Seth Rollins hit Roman Reigns with the chair.
Yeah.
And it just like, at that point, I was so... like it, I think that was a moment where I like got really sucked back into wrestling, and it was like, it made me realize how much I loved wrestling and why, and I don't know why I ever got out of watching it. So that was I guess that was the worst in a good way because
I was gonna say that one too.
That was heartbreaking.
That was like what?
I think it was just so
because they didn't even really have like problems.
It was so, it was just so out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere. It was like, what is this?
So it was a plan B, you know? Always a
plan B. Always a plan B, that's for sure.
He bought in. I mean, that was some great stuff back then, too. And that was great because you didn't really see that coming because these guys are on top of the world, right?
Yeah.
They were selling all this merchandise and the height of it, they just, I mean, they kind of teased it a little bit before that, but...
Yeah, but it was nothing that was like, oh, I definitely see this coming. Yeah. So I think that was what makes it the worst / best, is that it was so out of nowhere, and it like everyone had to take a back seat and was like, I don't know what's going on, why did this happen? And then it just everything going forward after that was like you've seen the reason that they did it, and they took all three of them and made them their own separate.
Yeah, it worked out for all of them.
Yeah, it was.
I like that you picked that and not like the Rockers or the Mega Bucks.
I feel like everybody says the Rockers.
I just look at it as what I was like around for and what I was watching. Because I didn't start watching wrestling really until 2007, so I was like late. I was probably 10 at the time when I started watching wrestling. So like, I didn't really get to see like the Attitude Era stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've gone back and watched all this everything, but like from what I remember being a wrestling fan, that was like.
Yeah.
So, like, what's going on?
That's crazy.
I think the biggest breakup around that time was Deuce and Domino, you know?
Yeah, probably. I was a huge Deuce and Domino fan, man.
Jerry
Come
was
on.
awesome. I
was
Jerry.
a huge Deuce and Domino fan.
I was going to say it was probably like DX, but they freaking turned on each other like 20 times, man. Triple H and Shawn Michaels is just like...
Yeah,
you got so used to Shawn Michaels turning on everybody. He was like a partner where he just super kicked everybody. That was his thing.
The funniest was like John Cena. You know, like he knew it was coming. He just didn't know when.
Yeah, that was leading up to Mania, or like it was right after Mania. I think it was.
Yeah, it was phenomenal, right? You just knew it was coming. Or the one that was like he teamed up for like a night or something like that. It was like Hogan, and he knocks Hogan right in the face.
That was a crazy one too.
That
was pretty crazy.
And like out of nowhere too, like he just lays him out, and like that match. Well, that's a different match for another day.
Yeah.
He was overselling and stuff like that. That was incredible. But yeah, I mean, when you look further down the road, you know, do you want to be the fan favorite? Do you want to be, you know, disliked by the fans, or is it just about your goals and whether you stay that course or not? It doesn't matter.
I look at it as the fans are going to cheer for who they want to cheer for. They're going to boo who they want to boo. And if half the crowd's booing me and half the crowd's cheering me, then that's fine by me because at least they're reacting. Mm-hmm. It's when they're just silent is when it's a problem, and it's when it's time to change. So, yeah, going forward, if fans want to cheer me, if they want to boo me, you know, they can do whatever they feel is necessary or whatever they want. You know, I'm just going to continue to be me. I'm not going to change who I am just because a fan doesn't agree with what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to change who I am because a fan is like going crazy for what I'm doing. I'm going to keep true to myself. And if, like I said, if they want to boo, if they want to cheer, you buy a ticket to a show. You have the right to do whatever. You have the right to react however you feel.
Yeah, for sure. Now, going forward, like, are there places that you're eyeing that you want to wrestle? Are there opponents that you're eyeing that you want to wrestle?
Definitely. So I have gone to uncharted territory for Beyond. I've gone a few times just to kind of help out with the ring. So Beyond is definitely, as of right now, one of the top places I want to work for in the future. Opponent-wise, I was really looking forward to wrestling Sammy Callahan at the Rec Center. Unfortunately, due to his Impact commitments, he can't make it. So Anthony Green was on my list of guys I wanted to work. So I'm glad I'm going to get a chance to step into the ring with him. I'm trying to think of Austin Theory would be somebody who I would definitely love to work with. I've never wrestled Moff. I've never wrestled Dan Moff. You know, want that moment of wrestling somebody who helped train me.
Yeah.
So we've never even been in the same ring together, like Battle Royal, Rumble, nothing.
Oh,
We've
man.
never even been in this through the curtain at the same time. So, Dan Mop, if you're listening, I'm laying out the challenge now.
He's calling him out.
I know that's pretty big. You're calling a shot, you know.
Calling my shot.
It's like you getting worse and worse, man. You went from Pound of Beast, now you want Dan Mom. It's like, oh,
Hey man, if
right?
someone's gonna give you the opportunity, you got to make it for yourself.
You said, and then he goes into singles. Dan Mom goes back to being in the tag team.
He's ducking me.
He's
ducking
you.
me,
There we
Mop.
go, you see?
You're ducking me, Mop.
You might have to team up with Delray or something like that, right? I mean,
Me and Delaware are coming for
like
Sent to
Warriors
Slaughter.
Yeah, like a Warriors of Wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Just find like a different partner every time. You know, that's crazy that you've been able to adjust to a singles and a tag team, and that is a pretty tremendous thing that you've been able to accomplish. And that's funny that you picked those guys. But yeah, I mean, like you said, you have Retro AG coming up. And this guy, I mean, he was in the first match on the WWE Network for Evolve, that pay-per-view. You know, he's another guy. He knows what they look for now. You know what they look for being a part of Impact. You know, being a part of the Fight TV that they, the Twitch thing on WrestlePro and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, do you have a game plan for Anthony Green?
I mean, you can't really. The way I look at it is, you can't really game plan for anybody because nowadays people are so good at changing up their stuff, you know, on the fly in the ring. So you just gotta go into a match like that with so many different game plans and pick and choose which is right for a moment like that. But Anthony Green he's you know, like you said, he's making his name everywhere. He's signed with Evolve. He's wrestled on the WWE Network. He competes for Beyond, Chaotic, all these types of places, and like I'm really looking forward to getting into the ring with him. Personally, I like Anthony Green, but once the bell rings, no mercy is getting shown towards the retrosexual.
Yeah,
He comes out with those platinum honeys, right? Are you gonna bring some?
distracted,
Are you
man.
gonna bring your own honeys to the ring?
I might have to. I'm either have to bring my own honeys or steal his honeys away from him.
You know,
You gotta get some cheerleaders or something. Man.
Yeah, that's what we need.
I mean, I think if you went after his honeys, you might be a dead man.
I might be a dead man at that point. That might not be the game plan
Yeah,
going
right.
into that match.
Man.
So
Anthony Green, he's kind of hot now too, man. He came off the Garden State Invitational with Syngery as well,
He's-
and you know,
Double trophies.
yeah,
got the Garden State Invitational. He's got the Vacation Land Cup from Limitless.
Yeah.
He's a current Chaotic Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. The dude is doing everything that any independent wrestler could want to do.
Just a
he's the
goal.
man. And Colin, I don't
Midas
know
touch.
if Colin will admit it, but during the press conference, everybody's picking all these people, Homicide, everybody that was there. I'm like, I told him, I said, dude, Anthony Green is gonna win the tournament. He was like, Anthony Green? He was like, what? I was like, dude, he's the obvious choice.
How can you bet against somebody like Homicide, who's been around forever and done literally everything you can in wrestling, not just on the indies, but on like global platforms. But Anthony Green, he's a young guy. He's taking advantage of opportunities he's getting. Yeah. So it's only a matter of time before he is on your TV screen regularly.
Colin got mad because I picked everybody to win that tournament. There wasn't anybody that I left out.
I mean, that tournament had some really good talent in it.
Yeah.
Really good talent. So it definitely was hard to pick a winner of that.
I was so surprised to see Steve Mack there and replace Grisham at like the last moment.
Yeah.
But it's so weird because I was like, when he walked there, I was like, yo, this is my guy now. I can't not pick the other people in this tournament.
Can't bet against him. So.
But like he had a hell of a match with Homicide. I mean, the week before, teaming up with KTV, it's incredible. You know, that's another guy I feel like people should learn from too because
definitely
he's done so much in tag teams and singles as well.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to wrestle Steve Mack for the Lyle C. Williams Memorial Show for CCW.
Yeah, Mike Dell, right?
It was me, Steve Mack, Mike Dell, and Eric Corvus. So that was actually my first time wrestling all three of those guys. So that was a fun experience. Steve Mack again, he's another guy who has just crazy amount of knowledge. He can just drop on you because he's been around. He's done everything. So just that's the opportunity I take when I go to shows like that. Is I'll just sit with guys like that and just pick their brains and figure out what they've done in their career, what to do, what not to do. So it's
and the cool thing about that match, it was like tiers of different levels of years wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mac with probably the most, Corvus following behind, you know, Dell, and then maybe you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of you guys coming from, you know, 4 different spots in wrestling history, you know, and what a dream match that was. I'm sure you felt the same way.
Yeah, it was definitely really, really cool. Mike Dell was I had trained with Mike when I first started a little bit at Creative Pro. He went his separate way, started doing his own thing. Eric Corvus, you know, was out of wrestling when I had started, so I didn't really get to see much of his until recently, until that match. And then obviously, you know, Steve Mack has literally done, like I said, has done everything in wrestling.
Those rec centers have some body prints on those walls.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
the people that he's thrown against those walls.
So for such a mean guy, he's just such a nice guy.
Yeah, right. He's a lovable dude for
He's
sure.
so nice. We definitely love him. Uncle Mac there.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Going forward, you know, you have these great matches coming up. You know, where can people connect with you on social media if they want to, you know, stay in touch with your career, maybe follow your matches online?
You can get me on Instagram at TJ Crawford Wrestling. You can get me on Twitter at TJC Wrestling. If you look up TJ Crawford on YouTube, I have my own page. I post matches whenever I can. And yeah, that's and then obviously on Facebook at TJ Crawford. Give me a like. Like I said, I think I've told you before, I'm trying to get that Pro Wrestling Tee store set up. So the more people, more followers I get, the easier it's gonna be to set that up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely follow him. I saw your highlight reel you put together.
Yep.
So that's pretty dope. Check that out for sure. And you know, we just want to thank you for coming through today, man.
No, I don't thank you guys for having me. This is like I said, it's been over a year probably since I've been here. And now that I live so close, I'm not gonna give away where I live, but now that I live a lot closer, I definitely wanted to get back with you guys and share everything that I have to say with the audience.
Sure, we definitely appreciate it. And for us, we're Wrestling IQ 101. You can find us Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Wrestling IQ 101. You can follow us, subscribe, like, listen to this episode here on YouTube and on the B Plus Player Network. And for this episode, we're out.
See you soon.
Peace.